Welcome back, fellow fans of Clash of Clans. It's your host, Galadon. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm so happy that you decided to invest a few minutes of your day with me. Today, of course, yes, the title says it all. Galadon is predicting that a nerf is coming. Now, there are many signs that point towards this balance change, as is the kinder way to phrase it. But it just seems, as of right now, and this is before the July World Championship qualifiers, that air is simply too dominant. Now, obviously, there are other attack strategies that work well. We see some P.E.K.K.A. Smash, but I'll tell you right now, I watched the World pre-qualifiers, and these are the attacks that we're taking a look at right now. I did not see a single ground army attack throughout all of the competition. And of course, I didn't see everything, but what I did see was a ton of air, which, you know, of course is ironic because in the last update, we had an increase of levels to many air targeting defenses, yet it's just not enough to offset the newer, stronger air troops, the new level of E-Dragon, the new level of regular Dragon, the Dragon Rider, and of course the Super Loon, which is crazy strong as well. So all of these things combined lead me to believe that rather than, say, just nerf Dragon Riders, I think that we're looking towards some sort of change that is going to bring air more on par with ground attacks, and this has happened in the past. Obviously, the game is going to be very difficult to keep in balance throughout the months and years, and with the evolving strategies and bases as well, but I do think that we're going to see a change, and it's going to be either a direct or an indirect nerf. And what I mean by that is we could see something, rather than removing hit points, attack speed, that sort of thing from the air troops, we could see a strengthening to air defenses, or maybe some other outside the box thinking that leads to more ground attacks happening. Okay, real quick, watch the opening move from Joker in this World Championship pre-qualifier against Tribe Gaming. Now, of course, these bases are pretty much burned, they were streamed, and they were also tripled, but this was unusual. That's right, you've got the Rage, you've got the Skeleton and Invisibility spells combined to take out the Clan Castle. I love this one, and this is what I'm talking about. Outside the box thinking always brings cool new innovations and catches defenders off guard. So I think that attackers and defenders may be caught off guard by the next Clash of Clans update or set of balance changes. We will just have to wait and see. Obviously, we're also seeing a lot of expos set to ground, and that could be helping to make air attacks stronger. But then you ask, wait a minute, why, if air attacks are so strong, are players setting their expos to ground? And the reason being is queens and kings don't fly, right? Or neither do royal champions. So even with the strongest of air attacks, you're beginning or using those heroes to get in and probably take out the town hall. Maybe it's a queen walk, a queen charge. You're trying to get great value from, say, your royal champion, or it's even that Sui hero where they come in and try to wipe out half the base. So those longer range expos definitely make a difference in mitigating the damage from ground troops, because there's really no possible way that ever is an attack completely from the air, right? Unless you don't deploy your heroes, I guess, just the warden. But anyway, so yes, air is super strong, and of course guys like me that love to use ground are sitting here going, come on Supercell, help me out, bro. I'm using Queen Charge Hybrid and it's just not going quite as well. And of course, obviously, there are just so many signs that point to the dominance of air. Look at the challenge, right? That World Championship challenge that was in the game recently, or is it still there? I don't know, because I refuse to go over there and look at it, because it just annoys me. And I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm always honest. I'm always honest with you guys, and I'm telling you right now, that is my least favorite challenge we've ever seen, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And no, I'm not good enough to beat it, okay? So whatever. I know you're better. I know you beat it. I know it was easy for you. And Galadon, you're garbage kids. You can't be. No, anyway, I'm just giving you guys a hard time. Hey, seriously? Congratulations to all those of you that have beaten it or have watched videos to give you tutorials about beating it and then following through. For me, it just hasn't gone that well. And I'll be honest, I don't have a ton of time to invest in it for what is a relatively small reward. I just feel like, again, okay, I'm going to drop it. a soapbox. I'm going to put it away. I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Okay? Let's talk about these amazing attacks. Joker with a 3-star against Tribe Gaming. So again, I went through all of these attacks, and yes, tons and tons of Dragon Riders, and we are seeing that by far the most. There's a couple of really dominant strategies that involve Dragon Riders, either with Inferno Dragons or with regular dragons, or even by themselves with a bunch of minions. Obviously, there are different openings, which also could be an argument for the fact that, hey, there is still a diversity to attacks in Clash of Clans. It's just that Dragon Riders and Air Troops are dominating, but the rest of the strategies are highly variable. And what I mean is, again, you're seeing Queen Charges, you're seeing Sui Heroes, you're seeing the Blizzards, you're seeing the Blimps with sneaky goblins inside, all sorts of cool strategies, even the lightning spells, the skeleton spells that we saw earlier, and that's exciting, and that's fun to watch. So, as I sit here, I'm kind of undoing my own reasoning in saying that, well, even though everybody's using air, maybe it's not that bad because there is quite a diversity in opening and other phases to the attacks. Remember that every one of these attacks is multiple stages, multiple phases, and that is what has really been the goal of the Clash of Clans design team for many years. In older interviews of the game makers, they've talked about wanting the game to be complicated enough to the point that you need to use multiple phases rather than just simply spam one type of army. And I think that we are at that point. I mean, notice the uses of the Royal Champion, the uses of the invisibility spells. It is really cool to see that much thought going in. And then the other question is, well, what about the average Joe? What about the average player? Are those players using only air? And that is something that we just don't know. We can only see the statistics that Supercell puts out. We can only see the stats that are available to us based upon the World Championships and the qualifiers and the pre-qualifiers. And in that regard, yes, air is really strong. But overall, is it? I really don't know. You guys have to remember, those of you that are watching this video or watch other Clash of Clans content creators on YouTube, you comprise an extremely small percentage of total players in the game. Remember, there are tens of millions of players still logging on to Clash of Clans every single day, and a very small percentage of those invest enough time or have enough passion to pop on over to YouTube to watch videos. So there is a big unknown, and that is where we're just going to have to wait and see. I still think that we will probably see a nerf or a balancing or whatever you want to call it happening. It may even not happen until the next update. Remember, we're looking at likely 4 updates a year, and the next update, as usual, will change things and probably alter the meta, even though obviously we have a long time to go before we see Town Hall 15, right? But you never know. We could see new hero pet levels, we could see new hero levels, we could see new levels to other troops, and even levels to defenses, although that seems unlikely just because the last 2 updates brought new levels. So yeah, again, we'll see. Okay, I'll admit, I'm kind of grasping at straws right here and just trying to guess. Now, I have guessed correctly in the past at certain changes that have happened to the game. You know that Galadon did call, say, weaponized builder huts and things like that. But, you know, I would also love to hear your replies, your predictions down in the comments, and then we can put those into a future video and see which of you might actually be correct in predicting the future of the game as far as the meta and the shifting balance that is always happening behind the scenes. So we'll just have to wait and see. For now, super excited to watch these attacks, and of course the July qualifiers are just about to get underway, the world qualifiers, and of course we'll get more amazing attacks and attack strategies from those guys. For the most part though, I feel like there has been a divergence of what I see is the everyday player from the pro player. These pro attacks keep on getting more and more and more complicated. Have you noticed? Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments, because I think that right now there is a huge skill gap between the average player and the pro player. And what happens is this huge challenge is that the Clash of Clans team has to try to keep the game balanced for both, right? They've got to make the game fun for the everyday player, because we all love to get 3 stars, but at the same time, they can't make it easy for for the pro players so that they're all always getting 3 stars, or that ruins the whole esports side of Clash of Clans, and that is definitely a direction this game has taken in recent years. Obviously, Supercell putting up over $1 million in prize money every year for these tournaments, and then they're becoming these huge productions with all of these big, elaborate live streams and so many casters and streamers working together on these events that they're epic. But you kind of have to not forget that the game is not supported by those pros, right? This game is supported by Joe Gemmer, the everyday guy like you and your friend who, and I'm not saying me because I overgem, right? But I'm talking about the player who might just buy the gold pass, or maybe they just buy a few dollars worth of gems a month. Those are the average players that are going to keep Clash of Clans going into the future, into the next decade and beyond. And yes, I do see this game continuing, and it all comes down to a good balance of attacking and defending. So again, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you, Galafan, for sticking around all the way to the end of the episode. You know I love thinking about it and appreciate every single one of you every single day. So get out there, make the best of the rest of your day. Unless it's the end of your day, then have a fantastic tomorrow, and I'll see you back here tomorrow or later on today for more Full Attacks.
Galadon, I have no idea what you just said. Can you say it again, slower?